so many women who are even removing the need for a man in the house.
Please go back and watch the OP. It's just priceless. And total trigger warning for any women that came up through the church. But honestly, this is one of the saddest things that I see in, the churchy communities, especially when it comes to women. And I think what a lot of women don't realize is that we as women are one of the strongest weapons of the patriarchy keeping each other down, like the OP, the pastor's wife, getting up and talking about how if our eyes were on Jesus, our eyes wouldn't fall on the shortcomings of our husbands. And what an honor it is to pick up his laundry. And what an honor it is to have dinner on the table when he's finished with work. And how we're colluding with the enemy to break him down when we focus on his shortcomings. And on the surface, I am one of those women. I'm not going to get up and shit talk my husband in front of people. I don't do that. I don't mock my husband in front of people. I don't shit talk him. Now, I reach out for support when I'm having trouble. Like, hey, I got in this argument with my husband and I don't know if I'm being reasonable. I'll go to a friend about that. But I'm never going to go to my friends and sit around the cocktail table and talk about what a moron he is, like some of these women do. The amount of mocking and disrespect and just disloyalty that I see a lot of people showing their spouses or their partners. And it's not just women. As a matter of fact, it's mostly not women. But just the disdain between couples is it's really, really shocking to me. So I am my husband's first ally. So let's not make any mistakes about that. Weakening my ally is weakening me. So there's no reason that I would go out and shit talk him. As a matter, but also I really don't have any reasons to shit talk him. He's amazing. So I'm not saying be disloyal to your husbands by any means, or your spouses or your partners or whoever. Don't be disloyal to your people. Be loyal to your people. But this is not what that rhetoric means. This is the rhetoric that tells women specifically to submit to their husbands, and to overlook the things that make them uncomfortable in their relationship, or to overlook, their feelings of, being disrespected, being used, not being appreciated. As a matter of fact, I got a great example here. I had a friend who I hadn't spoken to in many, many years reach out to me. And she confessed to me that she did not feel safe with her husband. She thought he might be violent towards her or her children. And then she also confessed to me that she was probably a lesbian. And compet is real. There are a lot of women out there married to men who never would have been married to men if society hadn't told them that they had to be married to men. And so she confessed this to me, and I was like, hey, let's talk about this. Let's get together. We'll have a chat about it. We'll see what you can do moving forward, because if you don't feel safe with your husband, it doesn't matter if you're a lesbian or if you're straight. You need to get away from a man that you don't feel safe with. Meanwhile, she's telling me that he's threatening to unalive himself when they get into arguments. He's, being extremely abusive, and that he carries pew-pews everywhere he goes and has often threatened to employ those in the ending of their arguments. So the day comes, we're supposed to get together, and, she cancels on me. And next thing you know, I see she has cut off contact with me, and I see pictures of her doing a remarriage ceremony in her cracked out Christian church. And she's posting stuff about how her unhappiness in her marriage was a failing on her part because she was failing to submit properly to God and her husband. The church got her. More than likely what happened is they were having troubles in their marriage, and either she reached out to someone in the church or he did, because he knew they would back him up, and they convinced her that her unhappiness in her abusive marriage was her fault. Because, of course it's the woman's fault. And all he has to do is say the magic words to the magic sky daddy and everything is better, right? So in front of their whole church, in front of their children, they did this whole recommitment ceremony, which adds to the pressure on her to stay with him. So now their whole community has got a stake in whether or not she leaves an abusive marriage. And that was the whole point. They just needed to add all of that patriarchal pressure to her to keep her in servitude to him and to keep him in servitude to them. And the men definitely lose in this situation, but like they also gain slaves. These women who feel like if they complain about getting hit or getting raped or, drunkenness or cheating or abusive coercion, they're just not submitting well enough, and they're not submitting to Jesus well enough. And now I know why so many of these women end up either, the wine o'clock ladies who put their, build their whole personalities around getting drunk, or they just unalive themselves. And it just reminds me of that scripture. It was read at my wedding by a priest in a giant freaking cathedral. Oh my God, humiliating. Where it says, wives, submit to your husbands. And the answer to that, anytime you ask a Catholic about this passage, ask a Catholic woman about this passage, and they will tell you, well, it's actually the men that get the raw deal there, because the next thing it says is that men need to love their wives as Christ loved the church, and Christ died for the church. Okay, but like, how often does a man need to die for his wife? How often does that ever happen? Or is that just some big overarching lofty fucking principle that they can say that they would do and they never actually have to do anything for their wives? And when their wives complain, they're just not submitting well enough. So don't forget, ladies, just because a woman is saying it doesn't mean it's pro-woman. And it is always okay to demand proper treatment and respect from anyone, including your husband. And you don't have to submit to anyone. He is not your master. He is not your prince. He is not your God. You do not have to submit to anyone. Perhaps they can make it pleasant enough for you to want to stay. Please don't let these guys use the threat of a magic sky daddy who is apparently all loving, but created a realm of eternal torture to coerce your behavior with. It's all bullshit, and it's meant to keep you down. Stay safe out there, friends, and kick those abusive spouses to the curb.